courage and confidence is not about not being scared. It is about being afraid and still doing it. It is taking a challenge as an opportunity to grow ourselves.
Hello everyone, welcome to the Achiever Show, where our goal at the show is to bring to you some of the top achievers and also entrepreneurs to share with you their strategies so that you'll be able to achieve your goals much faster. Now, in today's session, we have a very intelligent lady with us. Now, this lady is a mother of 3, and she is a specialist in communication, helping leaders to establish themselves as the authority in their field by using virtues. Now, I know you guys might be wondering, what are virtues? Now, for your information, virtues are a communication strategy that allows you to understand people better and to help you to establish a rapport with that person so that you'll be able to influence that person and to get people to like you. Now, in today's session, this lady will be sharing with us how are you able to establish yourself as a leader and to become a master communicator even in this crisis, to be able to help your employees to perform at their peak every single day. So ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome this intelligent lady, Gladys Tan, and we'll dive deep directly into the interview. I hope you enjoy. All right, hello Gladys, welcome to the show. And first of all, I know you are a specialist in communication and especially in virtues. So just to start off this interview session, could you just share a little bit about what are virtues and why are they important in someone's life?
What are virtues? Well, virtues are the content of our character. Virtues are what's good about us, and virtues helps us to achieve our goals. To name a few virtues, they are purposefulness, reliability, generosity, caring, kindness, perseverance, determination, acceptance, detachment, diligence, nobility, integrity, openness, optimism. The list goes on. There are hundreds of virtues. And why they are important? When our focus is on virtues, we immediately become more positive, finding the good in ourselves, finding the good in others, and finding the good in situations. So that's why they are helpful.
Right. So I know right now a lot of people right now, they are struggling in their business because especially like the pandemic is happening. So especially in times like this, how can we actually apply virtues to help all these business owners and other entrepreneurs out there to go through these tough times?
So yes, we are going through this health crisis. Everyone's going through the same health crisis all over the world.
Yeah.
But individually, I think the effects may be very different. The virtues needed may be very different from people to people, depending on the work situation, home situation. But I can suggest 3 virtues, the 3 A's, is appreciation, assertiveness, and acceptance. So acceptance is being open to what is, rather than wishing for things to be different. We face the truth with courage and confidence in all things, and we avoid judgment, and we trust that there is good in things that happen around us. Appreciation is to show gratitude. We don't dwell on the unpleasant things in life, and we value learning in difficult times, and we look for the good in people and in situations. And then there's assertiveness. It is to ask for the help that we need, stand up for what we feel that is right, and to be assertive in setting boundaries that will help to protect our time, health, dignity maybe, and to protect our family.
Right, okay. So I really love your point about being grateful, because I think that right now, especially times like this, people need to look back and really feel grateful, or else they will be filled by all this stress out there, and then they just can't perform well. So I totally agree with you. But in specific, right, what are some of the strategies that you teach which people can apply, especially right now? People are working virtually. How are they able to lead a team using virtuals?
Well, there are 5 strategies in the Virtues Project. I'll pick 2. Yeah. First is speak the language of virtues. Our words have great power to inspire or discourage people. right? And when the things that we say are meaningful and impactful, we can encourage cooperation. We can encourage people to perform at their best and lead by their highest standards. So for example, how do you acknowledge someone after they have done well or after they have done something nice to you? Most of us would probably say, good job, well done, that's great work, something like that. Although they are positive, they are way too general.
Yeah.
So in Speak the Language of Virtues, I might say, thank you for your flexibility in changing the appointment time with me. That was very helpful for me. I could also say to a team, thank you for your perseverance and determination in making this event a success. I really appreciate it. So meaningful acknowledgement are great motivators. And then the other strategy is offer companioning. As leaders, we want to empower. We are also a counselor at times. Offer companioning is a very powerful tool. It's a counseling-like tool that we give our tentative listening and our presence with detachment and compassion. We listen with detachment and compassion. It is asking a series of questions so that the one being heard get to the heart of the matter, so that they empty their cup, and then we fill up the cup with virtues acknowledgement and series of questions for them to find their own clarity and their own peaceful resolution. A lot of times, this process don't take very long. A lot of times people just want to be heard. I had a feedback the other day. This lady told me, you know, everybody tells me what to do. Nobody actually asked me, what is it like for me? What do I need? What can be helpful for me? And that process didn't take very long. And we didn't even go to a solution. She just wanted to be heard. She just wanted to be seen. And then she went on to do her own thing. And I've experienced it with my daughter as well. So it is a very powerful tool. A lot of times, people don't need the solution. They already know what to do. They just want to be heard.
Right. So I really love your point about acknowledgement, because a lot of times, like I said, like you said, a lot of times when we praise someone, when we encourage someone, it is just way too general. So if I get it correctly from you, it is about being specific, encouraging them, telling them what they have done well in specific things that they do, right?
Exactly, what they have done well. And when you give them virtues acknowledgement, you actually tell them, I see you, I see your inner qualities, your perseverance, your determination, your flexibility, your care, your kindness. So these are all our inner qualities. Yeah.
Yeah, that's very powerful. So in terms of companionship, whereby people need to be heard, right? So especially in times like this, people are working from home, and when you are leading a team, how do you make sure that everyone in your team is actually being heard?
Well, it depends the time, right? As the leader, I guess, whether it's a group kind of chat or, you know, it's just constantly keeping in touch. How are you doing? And as a leader, I think it is not just about work. Everyone is stuck at home. You have kids running here and there. So how are you, we can ask things like, how are you coping with the kids? You know, just one or two questions. Sometimes it matters to the team member. It shows them that, hey, my leader cares. And then how do you think they would feel, and what do you think they would do for the team if the team, even team members, can show that care and concern for each other? How are you coping? What kind of support do you need? How can I help you? Is there any difficulty that you're facing that the team can support you in?
Right. Okay. So I know right now you have been a parent for a really, really long time. So how do you actually parent your kid? Because I know right now, especially kids, they are very tough for us to understand. Now, what are some of the things that you have learned from parenting, which all the entrepreneurs out there, they can apply it in their business as well?
Yeah, so parenting is like leadership.
Yeah.
That's what I read. Okay, so I use, or I try, I'm still striving to use the language of virtues in my daily life. It takes practice. And what I notice is when I use the language of virtues, often enough, these kids use it back at me. Right? So that's also very helpful for me because they also remind me to practice my virtues. So I think it gives my family a language, a common language that we can, it is our anchor of communication. And I think that's very helpful because we bring out the best in each other. And especially in this time where we are all at home, we are in each other's space, it is also very important to give each other space and respect each other's space and set boundaries. The other strategy in the Virtues Project is also set clear boundaries. So because we are in each other's space all the time, we need to set very clear boundaries for each person. And the home and the workplace is no different because how we show up at home, we will show up at work, the communication style. So it is definitely very helpful if we use the virtues of language all the time, whether at home or at work, and we remind ourselves, we remind each other to practice our virtues. I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, okay. So I got just another question from your reply just now. This one when you said that virtues is also about setting boundaries, right? So let's say in a workplace where people are working, how do they actually make sure that a leader or a follower actually set the boundaries so that no one actually crosses the boundaries and they can work together effectively?
So set clear boundaries is one of the strategies in the Virtues Project.
Yeah.
But setting boundaries can be many different ways of setting boundaries. But here we're talking about setting virtues-based boundaries. So for example, in a team, and if the team leader thinks that perhaps we need to practice more courtesy in the way we speak among the team members, so I could set a boundary around courtesy. So we are to speak with courtesy at all times. And if there is a disagreement, now we need to look for ways how we can speak with courtesy and in a respectful manner in a disagreement. So so it depends what the group needs, and boundaries, these virtues-based boundaries need to change from time to time depending on what the team needs at that moment. Right. So it could be, if it's a project-based, okay, if there's a deadline of a week or something like that, so perhaps the team need to be purposeful, need to be cooperative, need to have self-discipline, commitment, yeah. So that's why it is important to speak the language of virtues in our daily conversations. Then the expectation is actually very clear. When you say, okay, we need to be purposeful, we only have 1 hour for this meeting, I need everybody to be committed to be here, let's get working. You know, so when your language is consistent every day, the expectation is very clear.
Right. Now, when you talk about the language of virtues, could you give us some of the examples on what are some of the examples of the language of virtues that that people can actually apply immediately into their life?
So there are 3 parts to a virtues acknowledgement or a virtue sentence. First is the opening, the virtue, and the action. So I could say that I see your courage. If you're talking to a child, I see is the opening, your courage, the virtue, in performing on stage just now, the action that the child was performing on stage just now. I see your courage when you were performing on stage just now. So there are always 3 parts. So like just now, I gave the example on your flexibility in changing the appointment time. So I could say, thank you, the opening, for your flexibility, the virtue, in changing the appointment time with me. So there's always 3 parts to a virtue sentence or acknowledgement. The opening, the virtue, and then the action.
Okay, so that is what you mean by the language of virtue. So every time you speak in these 3 parts, is it?
Yes. Of course, they are exceptional. So for example, there was one evening we had dinner. My daughter finished. She asked to be excused. She left the table, and it was her turn to wash the dishes. So after all of us had finished, we piled the dishes in the sink. She was on her phone, obviously, and she was watching whatever she was watching. And I said, Zara, we finished. Please go wash the dishes. And she said, 5 minutes. This is finishing. So I said, okay, fine. And then, so when her stuff finished, she put down her phone and she went to the kitchen. And I just called her. I said, Zara, that's very responsible of you, right? And it was just her eyes lit up and she went off to do the dishes. So of course they are exceptional. You know, I just say, you know, that's very responsible of you. So it didn't have that 3-part. So it depending on the situation as well. But of course, when you're acknowledging somebody and you want to make the acknowledgement meaningful, the 3 parts is very useful.
Yeah, I really like what you said, because I think that the important thing in our communication is usually no matter what the form is, no matter what strategy you use, at the end of the day is the intention itself for you to actually acknowledge that person for doing a great job. Because a lot of times in life, we tend to take things for granted, and then we just ask them to do something without even saying thank you or without even saying please. So so I really think that what you have shared with us today is something really, really powerful, which I think every one of us should apply in our life, not only in business but also in our personal life as well. Yeah. So so I think that I just like to touch a little bit on when it comes to let's say sales, right? Can virtues be applied in sales as well?
Definitely. It can apply in all areas of one's life, no matter what you're doing. I mean, you could be using the language of virtues with your customers, and I think that would be I think the customers would appreciate it. You know, you can thank them. You know what? I really appreciate your business. It's helping me in this difficult situation, and let me know how else I can serve you better. Let me know what else I can do for you. Something like that.
Right. Okay. Okay. Understand. So I know right now we have touched on 3 strategies right now. So could it be possible if you can just share one more strategies for all of us here to learn something, to learn even more from you?
Sure. The other strategy would be recognize teachable moments. Recognize teachable moments are moments in difficult situations, difficult time, right? It is recognizing that these times as opportunities for us to strengthen our identities, strengthening our own character. What are the virtues we need in order to face this particular challenge? It doesn't matter what challenge. In work, there are many ways to solve problems, but what is the virtue that we need to practice in order to face this challenge? So perhaps I need courage. I need to have a little bit more confidence. I need creativity in finding different solutions that could work. Courage and confidence is not about not being scared. It is about being afraid and still doing it. So that is what courage and confidence is about. And you know, it could be many things. We might need the virtue of understanding in order to solve a problem. So it is taking a challenge as an opportunity to grow ourselves.
Right. Okay. Thank you so much, Gladys, for all your sharings for today. Because for me personally, one of my biggest takeaway is really about to master our own communication, whether it's in work or in personal life. Because a lot of times, like I said in the beginning, we take things for granted. So I think one of the most powerful way for us to really do it is for us to appreciate other people's work. Because when we appreciate other people's work, then that person eventually will be able to feel better, and then they will be able to perform better. So I think that is a really powerful strategy for all of us here, especially as business owners, as entrepreneurs, or even when we are working at a corporate job. This is something really, really important for all of us here. So with that, I'd just like to thank you for your time again. Thank you for being with us today. I hope that all of you here who are watching this are really learning something from Gladys so far. So again, Gladys, thank you so much for your time. Hello everyone, thank you so much for watching the Achiever Show. If you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to our channel so that you can get first-hand update on our show, where we'll be releasing 2 episodes every month to help you to unleash your deepest potential. Once again, thank you so much for watching and stay extraordinary. I'll see you the next time.